I was chatting a few days ago with my friend, the author and all-around cool person Katie McCrite, about superstitions. It'll come as no surprise to anybody that I'm not particularly superstitious. The only time that particular irrationality raises its ugly head is usually when I'm already in a foul mood and some inanimate object decides to fall, break, drop out of my hand, or otherwise decide to fuck up my day. My logical brain tells me that it's because I'm already in a bad mood, and so I'm more likely to treat things roughly or carelessly. But sometimes it really does seem like things get in my way purely out of malice. Other than that, though, I'm inclined to consider most superstitions so bizarre that it's a mystery to me how people came up with them in the first place. Katie was telling me that where she grew up, which is rural Missouri, if someone drops a dish rag, it means that company is coming. Same thing if your nose itches, apparently. Interestingly, only a couple of states south of there, where I grew up in southern Louisiana, your nose itching means you're going to kiss a fool. We didn't have a superstition for company coming, not that I recall, but I do remember that if you have company and they have overstayed their welcome and you want them to leave, you should stand a broom up in a corner near the front door. Now, of course, if the company knows the superstition and sees you standing a broom up in the corner, they'll probably get pissed off and leave. So this kind of falls into the self-fulfilling prophecy department. Spurred by that discussion, I started looking into superstitions in other cultures, and I found some that make the black cats and walking under ladders and breaking mirrors seem positively normal by comparison. Here are a few that I found. In the Philippines, if you wear red, you're more likely to be struck by lightning. In northern England, if you say rabbit, rabbit as your first words after you wake up on the first day of the month, you'll prosper. In Cuba, if you're out drinking with your friends and you're ready to leave, don't say, "This is my last drink." If you do, you'll die soon, and it really will have been your last drink. In South Korea, running a fan in a closed room while you're sleeping will kill you. In Germany, don't toast someone with water, or you're cursing them with bad luck. In Lithuania, whistling indoors will summon a demon. In Japan, standing chopsticks upright in your rice bowl is extremely rude because the crossed chopsticks look like the Japanese character for the number 4, which is supposed to represent death. In Russia, don't shake hands or kiss across a threshold, or you'll eventually fall out with your friend. In Mexico, having 2 mirrors facing each other on opposite walls opens a door for Satan. In Denmark, if you're giving a knife or something else sharp as a gift, it can sever the relationship. So the recipient is supposed to give you a penny in return so that it's a purchase, not a gift. In Portugal, if you walk backwards, it's bad luck because you're showing the devil which way you were going. In France, stepping in dog shit is good luck, but only if you do it with your left foot. And in Spain, you should always enter a room with your right foot, especially if you've just come from France. I have to wonder how the hell some of these superstitions were invented. I know some of them come from the religious practices at the time. The superstition about throwing a pinch of spilled salt over your left shoulder actually dates back to Roman times. Back then, salt was a valuable commodity. In fact, the English word salary comes from the Latin word for salt. So spilling it was considered wasteful. What you were supposed to do is throw a pinch over your left shoulder because there were these household spirits called lares and penates that were hanging around watching what you were doing, and that was supposed to appease them. Because that's not creepy or anything. But for some of them, it's hard to imagine what events led people to believe that they were true. I mean, rabbit, rabbit? What did they do? Try various combinations of animal names and days of the month until finally they had a good day? And I'm sorry, stepping in dog shit is not in any way auspicious. Believe me, I own 2 dogs and I know whereof I speak. It bears mention, though, that some bizarre superstitions do have logical origins. In northern Germany, for example, when a baby's born, the matriarch of the family is supposed to kiss the newborn baby's forehead, and if she tastes salt, the baby will be sickly and die young. This seems ridiculous until you realize that northern Germany has the highest percentage in the world of the genetic disorder cystic fibrosis, which has, as one of its symptoms, extremely salty sweat. Another one with a genetic origin comes from the Basque region of northern Spain. Amongst the Basque, it's a seriously bad thing for a Basque person to marry a non-Basque, especially if it's a Basque woman marrying a non-Basque man. Now, on the surface, it seems like this is just the usual cultural and ethnic purity stuff, but it turns out there's more to it than that. The Basque people have the highest incidence in the world of the Rh negative gene. Now, this is what causes you to have negative blood type. If you're homozygous, you lack a protein in the blood. It has no health effects except for one. If a woman is negative, so she lacks the protein, and she conceives a fetus that is positive, so he has the protein, then her immune system recognizes the baby's blood as having a foreign protein in it, and she sets up an immune reaction against it that destroys the baby's blood. Most children in this situation, called Rh incompatibility syndrome, die as infants unless they have immediate medical attention. But remember, this only happens when the father is positive, so non-Basque, and the mother is negative, so Basque. That's where the superstition came from. But most superstitions seem to admit of no explanation other than accident and confirmation bias. You'd think that one or two counterexamples would be enough to smash them to pieces, like somebody spending a night in a closed room with a fan running and not dying. You'd think that would be all it would take for people to go, oh, okay, I guess we were wrong. What goobers we were. But for some reason, this never seems to happen, and I'm at a loss to explain why. In any case, these beliefs are interesting from an anthropological standpoint, even if they're maddening to skeptics. After all, as the Senegalese say, there are 40 kinds of lunacy, but only one kind of common sense. And there are millions of ones that I didn't mention. If you know any and they're particularly interesting, make note of them in the comments. But now I need to go fix myself some breakfast. I hope the microwave and the coffee maker aren't still in cahoots, because for some reason they don't seem to like me. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. Our resources are down there. And please subscribe to our channel. Thank you.